listening to Around Comics.
Man, you are listening to Around Comics, episode 399. I'm Brian Salazar. With me, as always, is Christopher Niesman.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Tom Caters.
Hey, I'm gonna get a reggaeton air horn just to like play in here, like.
Tom Caters.
Yeah, exactly. I have my
So,
own.
if you guys might have noticed it took me a while to get the show started here. Right when I hit go live, it came up with a thing saying that this might not be recorded through our live streaming software. So I had to set up a backup just in case that is recording the audio. So we'll see how this goes. We may not have an audio broadcast of this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what
happens.
Yeah, it's exciting. This is
It's exclusive.
Yeah, and it's going to be our best show ever.
well, it's a low bar. Let's be honest.
We'll catapult over that 1.5 bar.
Yeah.
Yep. What's going on, fellas?
Hi.
Happy winter.
Happy in between the two major holidays.
Yeah. It's the holiday season.
It's Hanukkah. It is Hanukkah.
Hanukkah's done.
Oh, is it?
Hanukkah was early this year. It started on Thanksgiving
It's
Sunday.
already over?
Yeah.
What the hell? All right, never mind.
Yeah.
Screw it. There's nothing going on. It's just I think there's like Indigenous Peoples Day or something. Is
Yeah.
month.
But are you done with all of your holiday shopping?
I don't know. Ask my wife. I don't do that shit.
See if the check cleared.
Yeah. I've not done paying. I'll tell you that fucking much. I know that. But as far as shopping goes, I don't set foot in a store. I mean, I don't go to the store nowadays much at all, but especially not right now. I don't.
It, the store.
The store, any
The
store.
Yeah.
The store.
Like a Meijer. So I'll only go to like a
They got
Meijer where you can get anything
I go to the truck and
Meijer. I
the
love
farm and
Meijer.
fleet. I can get everything at Farm and Fleet.
Got a machete at Meijer once.
Fuck yeah.
For real.
You
Bottom
can get anything at Meijer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Machete.
Why did you need a machete? Or did you just say, well, fuck it, I'm going to get a machete because I can?
No, we had to clear a bunch of brush from and that's actually what
jungle? You were in your jungle?
Yeah, I was in the jungle. I was being hunted. The most dangerous game.
Yes.
And I needed a machete to cut my way through adversaries. But I bought a machete, a watermelon, like a 6-pack of beer. Like it was a weird mix of stuff.
That's an interesting, yeah.
But you can do it. You can do it at mine.
Hell yeah. Why not? You can do it all. You can do it all there. That's all you need. I don't need more than one store. More than one
store.
That's the decadence of the West. More than one store. There are countries. There are people living in other countries that have no stores.
That's much less a fucking super Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on.
Hey, Chris, a little closer to your mic. I'm sorry.
All right.
You're still a little low now. You were so loud, and now you're so quiet.
Yeah. Is that good?
There's 2 settings on his mic.
Stuff it in your
Pretty
mouth.
much. Is that better?
Too loud and too low.
Good.
No, it literally sounds the same.
Yeah, it's like the same. Are you sure you're using a mic correctly?
Yes, I am.
Do you have a microphone? Are you whispering? Is Marta gonna beat you if you're loud?
No, Marta's in Mexico. Is this getting better or getting worse?
That's better. That's
better. Okay,
but it's still like
It's
not great. It's
there.
not,
I just turned up my gain. Is that better?
that's better. There you go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm a bachelor this week. Marta went to. She's in Mexico City. Actually, she's in Mexico City, being
vegan.
pummeled.
Is she at a vegan archery slash?
No, it's an immersive Spanish speaking language course.
Some goddamn white lady thing.
Sounds like a very suspicious story. My wife was in Mexico. I dyed my
Mexico
beard.
City learning Spanish because you can't learn Spanish here. There's no Mexicans here to learn Spanish from.
Yeah,
You have to
Marta's
go
in
to the city.
Marta's
She
in
had-
Spain.
She had 2 weeks of use it or lose it vacation, so she went to Mexico City to hang
Immerse
out.
yourself.
But she did get hit by Montezuma's revenge.
I think that I don't I've been to Mexico a bunch, well, as a youth. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I was young, my stomach didn't care.
Yeah,
I was carefree. I
she
ate and drink
He had
everything.
diarrhea all the time. He couldn't even.
she got laid out yesterday.
The only time I've been that sick from anything was a Cajun restaurant that opened up near us, and I made the mistake of going. And, that was horrible for about 3 days. That was awful.
Yeah.
Not fun.
So, we actually have a lot of comics to talk about.
It seems like we all read stuff.
I think we read a lot of the same things. Should we kick off with the one thing that I know that we all read?
However you want to do it, Chris.
But whatever makes me happy.
Whatever makes you happy, buddy. Just fire away.
You guys want to you want to start with One-Star Squadron, because I think we all read that.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's talk about One-Star Squadron. It is from DC. It is a limited series. This is number 1 of 6, and it is written by
Mark Russell.
Mark Russell, and with art by Steve Lieber. And anytime Steve Lieber does art, I'm happy, because Steve Lieber's awesome.
It's a good pairing.
This is
Isn't it? Yeah.
one of my must buy pairings. Mark Russell is, to me, he's becoming like the Steve Gerber of the modern. He's sarcastic parodies,
Poignant but funny.
Yeah, it's everything I've read by him so far has been, something I've really enjoyed. This included.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to stop for a moment. Joe G, our faithful YouTube viewer, had a comment. Wait a minute. What happened to Chris's beard? For those of you that maybe are just listening to the show and can't see what's that's a good point. Wife out of town, no play for Mr. Gray. So for those of you that can't see, Chris's beard magically became monochromatic and darker.
It's much darker.
Much darker than it once was.
Yeah,
It's like
I use
undercover
some
Santa.
No, I use some Just for Men shampoo and darken it. Hey, women color their hair all the time to cover their gray. Sure. Why can't I darken my beard up a little bit?
No, I have no. A little bit would be fine.
I'll let off the gas a little bit. It'll be a little bit more gray next time.
Used fucking shoe polish.
The lighting is not great here.
It also gives me a little bit of I'm gonna put on tactical sunglasses and yell about
got a little bit of American Assassin look to him. He's got. Are you going to go to the Capitol? Are you going to the Capitol soon, Chris? With some Oakleys?
Hey,
and,
the big lie is not a lie, my friends. The big lie is not a lie.
What has Q said? What has Q told you to do this week?
I don't know, but I don't know. Something about Tom Hanks eating small children or something.
There's nothing I wish for more than if you could somehow get a pair of tactical glasses and do the rest of the show from the front of a pickup truck, just in your garage.
You're gonna make me shave this beard,
So,
aren't you?
are you going to a Kyle Rittenhouse party, celebration?
Wow.
It's you just you got a little bit of that look. Oh man, it is. You got the hat, the flannel.
I'm I'm pretty fucking sconied up today.
Sconied,
It's there might be rifles mounted on the wall.
Wife's out of town. Chris joined a militia. That's all. I don't know if you want to come back speaking Spanish, Marta. I might get fucking shot at the front door.
You're terrible. You're horrible people. All
Okay.
right. Enough
All right,
of
we
me
got
and my
the-
fucking
Okay.
beard.
We got the beard.
We got the very brown elephant out of the room. we cleared the. All right.
You're
Back
both horrible.
to One-Star
One-Star
Squadron.
Squadron. Yes.
What would Mark Russell have said about my beard? There would have been a quip.
Yeah.
There would have been a quip.
For sure.
Would have
All
been
right.
like Earth Beard. Chris showed up. Earth-Beard. Earth B if it wasn't Bob Haney.
All right. So yes. The whole setup for this is kind of for what C, D, F level heroes and kind of how they make ends meet.
The gig economy, baby.
Yeah.
You can just call them up. Heroes for you.
Heroes
They'll
for
come.
you. Heroes.
It is the very funny kind of on point DC look at the gig economy for kind of the F list, right?
Yeah.
You know, not every, as it says in the beginning, not every hero gets the Justice League treatment. You don't. They're not all riding away around on segways and drinking Starbucks coffee. Some of them have to work for a living, and you have.
I mean, Power Girl's in it. She's fairly,
Yeah,
but involved for
spoilers. We don't know why Power Girl is in it.
Yeah,
so,
but it's a really smart idea concept for a book. I am starting to think though that Mark Russell is really doing himself a disservice. That this pair is maybe doing themselves a disservice because to me this is great that it's in the DC universe, but honestly, like this is such a good and almost obvious idea for a superhero book that they should have done it at Image and owned it, and then you know what I mean? Because like, as fun as it is to see Red Tornado and GI Robot and
he's got 46 confirmed kills,
mostly in the Mekong Delta.
It's very, very, very good.
Party.
Fantastic telemarketer, though.
Yeah, he's a machine.
You're a machine, dude. Yeah, I mean, this could be an Image comic. It could be, whatever. You know, it kind of, smack a little bit of a top 10 feel in that. I think you could go that direction. So, yeah,
it's got. I mean, it's very funny, but at the same time, there's sort of this underlying sadness to it.
Well, I'm looking at the screen capture of Black Condor, and it says not an escort service.
But it is interesting the parallel between like, if you look, okay, so sort of my kids are very much into TikTok, right? And so I started to sort of look into TikTok, trying to understand from a social media perspective of like, marketing and advertising, that kind of stuff, and just sort of understanding TikTok and what it is, because I never really took much notice of it. I didn't really spend any time on it, and it's interesting because it's very short videos, and you just scroll through the ones, and you can stop at ones that catch your interest, and then the algorithm, the things that you start to watch and you actually stop at, the algorithm starts to pick that up, and they send you more and more of that kind of thing. So it's very addictive sort of content, but it's also very brief. And at the same time, the people that are putting the content out are such a bizarre group of the most sort of like needy, narcissistic, people that just want your attention and will do anything for it, kind of thing. And this sort of parallel with that,
as a 48-year-old man on a podcast, I understand what you're talking about.
Don't believe me, I understand the sort of irony in that, but it's a difference between like the idea of we sit here and talk about things that we like, and if people like to watch that, cool. Or I'm going to slam my head against a wall and hope that 75 people like it, and videotape it. Or I'm going to,
but that's performance art.
Yes. Or I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like there is a level of sort of, I don't know, self-respect. I think, that we have to some degree, at least. Like we're doing this more for us than anything.
Sure.
But you find, I mean, there is just a lot of sort of broken, needy people that are, and hey, there's people on there that not everyone on social media is that, but there are a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot of that on there. And there is this level of, a lot of it's funny to watch, but then there's this level of it, there's a certain amount of sadness to it, because these people are really, really trying to make something out of some stuff that I don't know, and to be fair, there's people making a shit ton of money doing some really ridiculous things on there.
Yeah, the world is weird.
But if you had a world,
weird.
if you had a world like the DC universe, where you had people like Hawk and Dove and Black Condor and G.I. Robot that dress up in costumes and fight crime, but then at some point they really, aren't that great at it, or don't make a career out of it, or it doesn't go where they think it's going to go.
It ends up no one needs a superhero whose powers last 1 minute.
The whole scene with Minuteman is so good. It is so funny.
The heck.
Why don't you work some like shopping malls, get those ratings up.
But it's this interesting parallel of like, people in costume. You know what I mean? That is essentially what you're seeing on social media, on TikTok, and those kind of places, where it's like, these are people in costume that don't really have any normal world skills, or don't want to work towards that, and are trying to make a living, doing something else, doing something, I guess, extraordinary, if you will. Nothing against, like I said, nothing against. I mean, it's a weird thing, because I think there is certainly, value in that stuff, that people make huge amounts of money from social media, but there's also a ton of people chasing that, like any other career. There's the very small percentage that are super successful doing it, and then there's a bunch of people chasing it.
Well,
and
really kind of see that funny parallel in this book of, there's the Justice League, and then there's the heroes that aren't Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark or whatever. And it's like, oh, I want to use my powers for good, and I want to help people, but I also have a mortgage. And then we step into this weird kind of like behind the curtain of, how does a hero like Red Tornado try and live a normal life but also doing what he wants to do? It's it's a funny, weird, quirky look at, if you're ever like sick of hearing about this billionaire superhero and why they don't have to worry about like paying the gas bill, kind of thing.
Did anyone else I didn't realize Red Tornado ate. Like, there's a scene where he's eating
I was like,
food. Like,
at some point he became he got a real body.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Interesting. I didn't.
But anyway, it also had some like real JLI vibes to it.
Yeah.
Sort of like office comedy type thing, where it's like sort of like, we all work here, mixed into that. So it was definitely, it was good. It was, but also poignant.
Yeah. The Jose Delgado, the gangbuster character. Who,
are you getting like the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest thing there?
Yeah, I think. Well, I felt that a little bit. I mean, Chief from One Flew Over. A bit, but it also like he felt like, he's an ex-boxer with brain damage from getting punched in the head and headbutting people all the time.
Ironhead.
Yeah, and just it's Mark Russell. I think he just has this way of, he makes things funny and interesting, and he comes at things from a very strange angle, but also there's sadness and poignancy, and with this, near the end of it, we find out that maybe there's something, more mischievous to the whole thing. Of course, it seems like, Possibly Maxwell Lord involved.
Yeah,
fucking Max Lord.
Max Lord, dude. You know he's like one of those dude, like a almost pyramid scheme.
Oh yeah,
You know, like if Max Lord was around, he'd be like a multi-level marketer.
for sure.
You know.
You know what?
He's Elon Musk.
You know what I
Right?
watched?
Like seriously?
The Eyes of Tammy Fay, the movie about and
is it good? It's got to be.
It is good.
Right?
It is interesting. It's you know, I grew up with them on television, and you know,
with them or with them?
No, no. I mean, I might have
you grew up aware of them.
Aware of them. They were
yes, okay. Yeah.
Not a lot of you guys remember, but there was a little kid on stage with them.
I couldn't walk. My legs didn't work, and they healed. Yeah,
he's cropped out of a lot of the videos.
I spoke in tongues.
Yeah.
Episode. No, but Tammy Faye and Jim Baker? Jim?
Yeah, Jim and Tammy Faye.
And that's what Maxwell Lord, you know, that Jim Baker got you just the
evangelist.
Good talker.
Evangelist.
Yeah. He's definitely. Now, did you recognize any of those people in the end at the final scene, the sort of the board of directors? Were those anyone?
I was trying to figure that out, but I didn't totally.
I didn't really
read anything particular to me.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they were just random sort of corporate stooges or they were actual. Because the guy with the red hair seems like he looks like some sort of mid-level supervillain.
Maybe they are, and it's like we just don't know him. You know, like I don't know if I could pick the heckler out of like.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I almost get that vibe though.
Is this the Tom DC comics character check? Tom, who are these people?
Man, the heckler is a real.
That's a reach. That's diving deep.
Extremely bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
deep cut.
That's what I love about books like that. Whenever you see that they're pulling from like the deepest, darkest levels of their IPs, you're like, oh yeah, people are gonna die.
I'm gonna look it up.
And these characters are expendable.
Yeah,
Power Girl is involved in this, and I know that this just makes me a misogynist and a horrible human being, but her original costume is fucking hot.
It's still awesome.
Yeah, it really is just a great costume. Yeah. I know people hate the boob window, but even, you know, just outside of that part of it.
Was it Gail? I think it was Gail Simone who handled that so well. And it's just like, yeah, it's there for a reason. It's there to distract people. And
yeah, that was one of the hey, whatever. It's there, you know, whoever created, I can't remember who created Power Girl, but okay.
Boob window.
Show off her boobs. Great.
I forgot that the heckler was created by Keith Giffen.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
There you go.
But like, it was just like in a 5-issue series, like in 1992, you know, just like.
When things like that happened.
Who's the like wolf? He kind of looks like a wolf or something. He's like bare chested. I don't think he only has like one line at some point.
I'll have to look.
But he's wearing like a wolf head or something, and has like a big wolf tattoo. Oh wait, maybe here. There's you know what? When they do the sales record, so it's Heckler, G.I. Joe, Flying Fox.
Oh yeah, Flying Fox from the like Infinity Inc. after they had to like change it. Oh wait, no, when they had like the thing where they had to like, well, if Superman wasn't around in, you know, World War II, then I guess Iron Monroe. He was like one of those characters from like that weird shit that like Roy Thomas randomly made up.
Then there's like a molded man. Or I can't read it. Her Power Girl's arms in front of it. Slappa? Any idea who Slappa is? I don't know who Slappa. And then Dr. Pop? I don't know who any of these characters are. There's some deep cuts. Dr. Pop. But it is fun it's like I always love the idea of a writer sort of going, okay, I got this idea and I need some B-level characters. What can I do? Who can I use? Who can
Go
I
to editorial and say, okay, who needs to show up in print to keep that IP alive?
Yeah, because God forbid the heckler IP dies.
Because that fucking happens.
Set on it. I was gonna write a new heckler.
Speaking of that, there is a really awesome, I think it's Planet Money on NPR that did a whole series on IPs and comic book IPs. Alex Segura was interviewed for it. It's really, really interesting looking into the business of comic book IPs. And like Marvel will not sell anyone an IP, period. And the reason for that is for one character.
What do you mean?
The reason that they don't sell any IPs to anyone anymore was basically because of one character, one very obscure character that ended up making them tons of fucking money.
Deadpool.
Groot.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You never know. Like, all of a sudden, these characters show up in a movie. You never know which one's going to be all of a sudden a gigantic fan favorite.
Before Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, Groot was...
Nobody gave a shit about Groot.
No one knew who Groot was. It was a footnote of a footnote. And now that... I mean, what is Groot worth? That character.
Right.
I mean, put a dollar figure
Baby
on
Yoda, man. He's a fucking...
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
He's on everything.
It's a really good... So check that. It's Planet Money. Just look up comic book...
now, the rest of the episodes.
Yeah, we're done. The rest of this show's gonna be that's a better use of your time.
If we were still,
it probably is. It's really good.
If we were still naming episodes, this episode would be called Chris's Beard.
Shut up. Those are terrible. All right. Another thing that I think that we all read, that we all like, so we can wax poetic on Tom King again. Have we all read Human Target #2?
Fuck that guy. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. He's so fucking good, right?
Fuck that dude. You know,
wasn't this an awesome...
Pretty good, but he really is able to get great artists. That's part of his goodness.
And you're right. This was great. Not because of Tom King, even though he's part of it.
In this episode,
it's just, it is a
riding coattails this time.
Yep.
I just say that because, man, I haven't felt this much like I'm reading a Darwin Cook comic since I met, Greg Smallwood's art. It has that heart and soul that I loved about Darwin Cook's art. I get the same feeling reading this.
Yeah, it has that like 1950s Mad Men, advertising illustration feel to it, which I love as well. I'm a big fan of that style as well, and Darwin did that. I think if you look at Alex Ross's pencil work, he has a lot of his character study stuff is very much in that vein, and
has that mid-century, just kind of classic
feel.
But I love Smallwood's art, but is he the colorist on this? Does he do his own colors?
I don't know. Let's see.
The color palette in this is fucking breathtaking. I mean, the color is the star of the art in this book. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, he is the artist, so he does all of the art. There's a letterer, an editor, and an assistant editor.
I mean,
only writer and artist.
Yeah.
The understanding of lighting and directional lighting and using very non-traditional color palettes in this, it is a fucking breathtaking book.
And rather simple color palettes. Like it's flat colors. There's not a whole lot of shading. The pencil work does most of the shading. And there is some sort of opacity, color, flat colors on top of others. But for the most part, it's a couple of flat colors and white. in most of the panels, and yeah, it's
But it is color is used as a storytelling device. It's used in switching times and flashbacks and locations, and it's. I mean, this is how you use color to help tell a story. It's
I mean,
it's
small
amazing.
small. I mean, it looks like a extended magazine ad from the 1950s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
In all of the good ways.
yes, absolutely. How about Ice? I love his depiction of Ice
Right?
in this.
Yeah.
She you know, because a lot of times Ice is sort of depicted as violent, or not violent, but like vicious, right? Isn't she?
Well, I don't know, but sometimes
That
they
character's
played that
changed
up.
a lot. Yeah.
She's had a lot of switches and like flips and flops where like she's kind of dumb, but no, she's actually like tough as nails, and she's vicious. You know, like she's had a lot of those like sort of like
There was
wild
one point where she
split.
was written sort of as a killer. Like she was sort of wasn't, or am I thinking of another character?
You might be thinking of a different
I think
character.
you're thinking Killer Frost.
Are you thinking Killer
Oh, that
Frost?
might be who
Yeah.
yes.
I
Okay,
mean,
makes sense. It's in the name.
it's I mean, other than like I don't know, other than the Justice League International, I don't know if I could really like point to another like, you know,
Ice.
yeah,
She
I
was
mean they did all kinds
centric
of weird
story.
stuff with her, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean they she's been put through all like the twists and turns and
And it gets
all that
into
stuff.
her very convoluted origin story in this, and you're like, oh, and as you're reading it, it's like, okay, this is like the 1950s noir way of explaining really fucked up DC continuity.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. She's dead. She's been dead.
Yeah.
And came, you know, like she's done all. Yeah, she's been pro all that.
The other thing with the art is like this style, it only works with DC characters too. Like you can't do this style really with like a Darwin Cook or Greg Small. Like it doesn't work as well with Marvel characters.
It can. It just this just feels more natural, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Too many masks.
Is that what it is? There's so many masks
on their face.
Yeah, capes and like I don't know. There's something. Yeah, there's something about.
You can do it with some characters, yeah, but not all. Yeah.
It's just I can't like Darwin's. Did Darwin ever do Marvel stuff?
Yeah,
he did, right? He did Marvel
Ecstatics.
Oh yeah, he did some of that.
Yeah,
but that was a throwback book. Like
I mean, he dabbled in the X-verse and that kind of. It's I don't know. I don't know what it is, but DC characters just they fit better with a 1950s aesthetic. It's,
I agree.
The Marvel Universe wasn't around
right
until the 60s, right? So it's already a decade removed. I don't know. Just Superman.
I want more. I
want
to see. Right? I want to see how he handles Guy Gardner. If we get a Guy Gardner, like a true lengthy Guy Gardner appearance.
I hope so.
Right? Like how does Guy Gardner?
I mean, he
into...
shows up. I think there's. Go back to the first issue where it goes through the 12-month countdown.
Yeah.
It looks like there's going to be a Guy Gardner issue.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued both artistically and like writing wise, like how they approach that character who feels like what a strange combination to like put Guy Gardner into that like Darwin Cook-esque universe.
I think he fits. Absolutely. I mean, he's a big dumb tough guy.
But think of like visually how they've always he like looks like a doofus.
No, but if
you know, like
you'd
hair, you know, like
might have to change to a crew cut or something. You know?
They're absolutely going the crew cut. They're absolutely going to go crew cut. It's going to be Biff. It's Biff from Back to the Future.
I look forward to it.
Yeah,
it's always good to get an occasional Guy Gardner.
Absolutely,
appearance someplace.
Guy's fun. Yeah, but no, the series is great. It's going to be one that I'm going to want oversized at some point. Right?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tom King, words. Nice. Smallwood's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tom King didn't get in the way.
Tom, you didn't get in the way of the art. Congratulations.
I know, I will say this though. I feel like this is a little bit of a departure from what Tom's been doing.
Yeah.
It's a little different. It's a little lighter, even though, there's.
Yeah, but it's like a very it's more of like a look at this cool device. It's not played up to and you kind of feel like he's not something's gonna happen. Maybe
right.
Even though you see the end at this, there's that little bit of what's he gonna figure out?
It reads like a really fun 1950s TV show.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. It's an episode of some, I don't know,
Prisoner,
something like that, something less British, but definitely something something like that. But
what's the Harrison Ford movie?
5-0. No, it's I don't.
The man with no arm.
The Fugitive.
Fugitive. That kind of feel, right? The Fugitive.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something I can't come up with it. There's definitely
heavy, but
it's less British
at the same time. No, it's heavy, but it's also got a light touch to it. So it just comes across very it's more of a mystery than it is this guy's gonna die.
Yeah, he's not super powered. It's a detective story essentially. Yeah. He's kind of a tough guy to some degree. He's your classic sort of hard drinking, smoking, tough guy with a heart of gold. And he's gonna die. And there just happens to be these superheroes in it, but they're not even shown in costume yet. You haven't even dealt with any real superpower stuff. So
and I hope we don't, because it's a hard boiled mystery.
Yeah, it's a 50s detective story.
That's why whatever. It continues to be awesome. I've got so much Tom King to catch up on because Rorschach and the Strange Adventures, I think, are both the hardcovers are coming out this month.
Yeah,
Tom King getting that hardcover money. Hardcovers only, baby.
It's worth it for those, man. It's I get his shit in hardcover because I need to read it that way.
I agree, and it's nice. Hey, he's got pretty artists, so it's always nice to have.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's Peter Gunn. That's what I was trying to think of.
Hey, we have some business. We have business to take care of.
What?
Last week we did our Trade Talks episode on Milkman. We did not assign a new book.
Whose pick is it?
I think it's yours or Tom's.
Wait, when was the last one
You did,
I did the old teasers, and then Chris did.
Okay, so it's Sal.
I'm actually prepared.
Really?
Well, I have.
Why don't you play the stinger? Just because I love it.
Oh shit!
Oh no, it's not pulled up.
I know it's not. I'm not ready for this. This is our Journey Talk. And there it is. Okay, so my pick, it's on a Hoopla. It came out I think
Hoopla friendly.
Yeah, it's Hoopla friendly. It came out I think earlier this year. It was a series that I was very intrigued by the covers, very pretty covers. It's written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Dean Coates and Jason Wordy. It is called The Butcher of Paris. It's a 5-issue series from Dark Horse Comics. It's set in 1944 during World War II, and there's a notorious and prolific serial killer occupying Paris and killing a lot of people, and sort of chased by both Allies and the Axis. So
serial killer in World War II. I'm so happy.
Based on a true story, apparently.
That's amazing. That sounds awesome.
And it's only 5 issues, so it's not like
Nice.
it's So I thought that sounded pretty cool. Pretty
That's
cool.
nice.
So
Yeah.
The Butcher of Paris.
Let me
All
write
right.
this down. And how do people who listen to this show find out about stuff like that and other stuff, Sal?
Well, they can go to aroundcomics.com, and on there under the contact us there's a bunch of links. There's a menu, and I think there's a subscribe menu, and under there's both the Goodreads book club and our Amazon book club, and I always update those with the book of the months. So you can follow along and read along. And I also usually put it on the homepage of aroundcomics.com. So you can, and I put links to Comixology and Amazon if you want to buy it, or Hoopla if you have a library card and want to download it for free.
It's nice to do Hoopla.
Yeah.
You know,
the Hoopla.
because it's like you can truly just try something with like zero actual commitment other than your time.
Yeah, and you're not stealing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really like their comic viewer on tablets.
I do too.
It's a good comic viewer. I mean, it really is.
If you are a comic book fan and you do not have Hoopla, you are missing out on. I mean, not that we don't get paid by Hoopla. We should. We promoted Hoopla a ton, but they have so much good comic book stuff on there.
It is
awesome.
It is actually possible for you as a comic book fan to stay relatively up to date, have more content than you could probably read available to you, and all it takes is getting your library card. It is an awesome service
too. They have
yeah. I think I get four checkouts a month, so I can read 4 graphic novels.
If you're an Oak Park baby, you get 20.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I think I get 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not here in the Wisconsin or the greater Milwaukee.
Too much books.
Libraries have to pay. I mean, they have to pay for that. So my niece works for a library, and then I was talking to her about this, and it's like, some libraries just don't have the funds to try to give you enough because they do have to pay licensing for those.
Sure. And that as a consumer, you can feel like you are rewarding the creators of the comics that you're reading, even though you're not paying for it. They're getting taxpayer dollars.
There you go.
Yeah, which is
I paid more than Elon Musk.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes, exactly. So yes, Hoopla, and that's awesome, and I can't wait to check out Butcher of Paris. Yeah,
we have a comment. People are reporting how many they get.
Oh, KJ
Fulton County, Atlanta.
Fulton County had 10. Joe G, unfortunately, he says West Virginia doesn't have Hoopla.
Oh, Joe, it's awesome.
Talk to your library, Joe. Tell them they should get it. They should talk to your library. They may just not.
Yeah. Well, talk to your dickhole senator.
Oh, jeez.
Pass a fucking infrastructure bill.
Listen, brother, he puts on his tactical. These jokers and
those libertards in West Virginia.
Democratic.
Give away libraries for free. They should be burning books. That's what they should be doing.
You're both terrible. Are you guys reading?
I love how he turns into Macho Man. Listen, brother.
Listen, brother.
Hulk Hogan. He's Hulk Hogan.
You turn into Hulk Hogan or Macho Man. Really good documentary. On,
Hulk Hogan did have
Man.
that really badly colored beard when he was in W.
It's gonna wash out. Give me a week, all right? I gotta find my balance here.
Yours was bad. I just said he had.
No, you were absolutely saying mine was bad. It was like he also had a terribly colored beard.
He did not say also. I just said he had a bad beard. We were talking about beards, in general.
I can't have a luxurious mane of hair like you.
Well, not few. Very few can.
Mm-hmm.
But I got gray in mine. Look there's gray. I got gray in here on the side. What can I say?
You're all terrible. I hate you.
Blessed.
Are you all reading? What's the furthest place from here?
I still haven't caught up on it.
haven't read the new issue yet.
Yeah, I haven't read
two issues out. I'm gonna wait for you guys to read it. It's a really good first 2 issues.
I meant to read it after you guys talked about it last episode because it sounded so good. It sounded interesting.
It's really good. And so I want to talk with you guys after you read that issue. And I'm enjoying that series a lot. I have no idea where it's going. It is unlike anything that I have read before because I can't predict where this fucking story is going. And that interests me. Right?
It's like, what is this? Is this like...
Yeah. You know, sometimes there's a comfort zone where you're like, oh, okay, I kind of see where we're going, and I'm just gonna. It's almost passive, like, you know, get on a roller coaster. It's like, okay, I know the dips and the dives and the loop-de-loos that we're gonna go through. I've been on this ride before. That's cool. It's still fun. You know, you can ride a roller coaster 100 times, and it's still fun. This comic, there's still the feeling that it may come off the rails and we'll all die. Now, one that I feel like I have been on the roller coaster before, and that's okay. Sal, I think you read Devil's Reign.
Oh yeah, the Daredevil event that's happening.
Yes.
That's
where we are now. We have an event that is centered around Daredevil.
Daredevil, about time. I don't know that has there been. I'm trying to think. Has there been a Daredevil?
There's never been a Daredevil event.
I want to say there was actually once. There was.
What was that memorable?
Hell's Kitchen sort of thing. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, this was Chip Zdarsky,
who has written Daredevil for a good long time.
Yeah, and a good Daredevil he's writing. I feel like. This was interesting. Oh, art by Marco Cicchetto.
And it's nice. I like it. It's a little. It feels a little McNiven. Am I off there?
No, I don't think so. It also reminded me a little bit of when Quesada did Daredevil. The Daredevil.
Yeah, it's like somewhere in between Steve McNiven and Joe Quesada.
Well, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. Something along there.
Right off the bat, I do not know who these characters were. I have not read Daredevil in a while, so I was just like, who are these two Aryan people? I thought it was Fenris for a little bit.
Oh, in the beginning?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't know who those people are either.
That is the Purple Man's
that's his. Okay. Oh, that is the Purple Man's kid. Okay. Stromwyn, Mr. and Mrs. Stromwyn. Yeah. Wait, that's not his name though. Do they change their name?
I don't know. It's the Purple Man's kids. It's not Fenris.
Okay. Anyway, there's two rich assholes on a yacht. Basically, the story is that the Kingpin is now the mayor of New York City, and he's going.
There's no way that could happen.
No, a bad guy like that.
He is the duly elected mayor of New York.
No way.
Not my mayor. Not my
mayor.
Hashtag not my mayor. But he's going a little bit off the bend because basically that Daredevil or the Purple Man's kids erased the memory that Daredevil was Matt Murdock from King.
Is that how they worked around that? Is that how they wrote that out?
So the Purple Man's children, who have his powers as well, they got rid of the memory that Kingpin knew who Daredevil was. He knew he was Matt Murdock, but Kingpin knows that something is wrong, like that Daredevil. He blames Daredevil. You did something, and so he's sort of like going crazy. And it leads him to enact a new law in New York City where essentially superheroes are illegal. Not the first time this has happened in the MCU, but it's.
Do you feel like you've been on this roller coaster before?
A little. Yeah, I did. I was like, this sounds familiar. And he hires a bunch of supervillains as the Thunderbolt Squad or Thunderbolt
Yeah. Which
Soldier.
is basically what, like Rhino, US Agent, Electro.
I think she's
Uh,
Electro.
hmm?
No, it's Electro. It's a female Electro now.
Shocker.
Shocker. You got who else?
Yeah, it's a good.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch. Doctor Octopus.
Doctor. Yeah, they're the Thunderbolts.
They're like, it wasn't the Thunderbolt. I mean, they're basically the Thunderbolts, but they called them something else.
It's the Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. And they're tasked with arresting any superheroes that show up in New York City, and that doesn't go really so well when Captain America and Spider-Man and these guys all show up, and yeah, it's kind of like Civil War all over again.
Yeah, it's Civil War in New York.
Except this time around, Tony is on board with the team.
Because he's a little bitch.
No, his plan is to run for mayor and take out Wilson Fisk that way. So, I will say this: yes, it did feel a little like retread ground for sure.
Yeah.
I do like.
It's entertaining though.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I think it was. I don't know, 4 or 5 pages of the best Fantastic Four that I have read in a long time, and I really want Chip Zdarsky to watch or to write a Fantastic Four book now, because and he might have, I don't know, but
I'd read that.
It was only like 4 pages of the Fantastic Four, and in those 4 pages, it was everything that the Fantastic Four is, and beautifully, perfectly well done. And maybe that's the problem with the Fantastic Four, that you can kind of capture it all in 4 pages.
It's Sue being a badass. It's Reed being a pompous, smart dickhead. It's Johnny being Johnny, and Thing.
Johnny didn't do a whole lot, but the part that really got me was
Johnny being Johnny, and Thing being the moral center. Right?
Yeah, him getting angry because the Thunderbolt agents shot at the kids.
Yeah.
And that sort of, that was like, oh, that's so Ben Grimm. That's so perfect. Like, it was just a perfect little, and then jumping out the window and landing in a fantastic car and all that stuff was just, it was great. It was part.
It was really good FF.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the book, I think, even though it's a Daredevil centric book. And then you had Luke Cage and what's her name? Alias? Jennifer.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. I was going to say Jennifer Garner.
Jessica Jones, Jennifer Gardner, Alias, Lawsuit, go.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We also have the Kingpin's son, who is now the Kingpin.
Butch.
Butch.
I gotta go back and read those issues. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, as far as events go, I'm in it a little more because it is a Daredevil book, and you guys know I'm a Daredevil. I've always
I read all the way through. Bendis's run was like this great, like new renaissance for Daredevil as a character, which everyone, and that was basically a big love letter to the Frank Miller stuff. And then I loved the Brubaker run. Kind of tailed off at the end of that and didn't continue reading Daredevil, and so I've heard that this latest run has been pretty good, but I feel like I've been out of touch with this character for like 7-8 years now.
Daredevil, I would agree with what you just said about that. Yeah, I mean, there was some hit and miss stuff in between, like the Brubaker stuff and Zdarsky's. There was some okay stuff in there. There was some not really great stuff in there. There was a really good run by Chris Samnee and Mark Waid.
Yes.
That was
back out in the sunlight, kind of Daredevil.
I think the problem with Daredevil at this point is there's been so much of this character, and it's sort of the same thing over and over and over again. At this point, it's like put Matt Murdock through the ringer.
Ever since Born Again, it's like the template is, I'm going to have this character for 6 or 12 issues, and I'm going to just absolutely kneecap the fuck out of him and then see how we put him back together.
But I think the problem also is in the fact that he's such a well-established character that if you try to go in a really, new direction, people sort of, balk at it. Like if you look at a character like Moon Knight's essentially the same thing as Daredevil, right? Like essentially this kind of character, but Moon Knight's not as well established, I don't think, as Daredevil. So like people have done some really wild, weird, out there.
I love this current run.
I do too. I really,
really good. And it's because it's not. I've not seen that character like this before, and it gives there's room.
But I don't know
room to move around.
Yeah, and that room doesn't really exist with Daredevil, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like Mark Spector has that sort of ambiguity, and there's some weird shit in him that, between the multiple personalities, the Fist of Khonshu, all that, you can sort of play with that. And
Matt Murdock is who Matt Murdock is going to be.
And if you go away from that too hard, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the problem with Daredevil. I think the current Zdarsky run is very good, but I've read so much Daredevil, it's not really gonna blow my hair back. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't know where else you're gonna take this character so much. You're fighting Kingpin again.
Been a good run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. It's funny because it's like we talk about, like, what's the definitive Doom Patrol, and we're kind of like, I don't know. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. It's like Daredevil. It's like, this is the
issue 181.
It's all in the shadow of that. Like, the character just doesn't have, like, for whatever reason, it has this one incredible definitive story of it that every other story always is in the shadow of that story.
I feel like X-Men for X-Men, that was the Phoenix Saga for a really long time, and love, hate, feel nothing for the X-Men as they are now. I think they were able to get out from under the specter of the Phoenix Saga, and I don't know if Daredevil will ever get out from under that Frank Miller run.
It's funny enough, reading this, I was starting to think about that a little bit, and I was like, what could you do with this character? And I was like, well, what, you're in a universe that there's really unlimited possibilities, and not necessarily to, give him any more superpowers or something like that, or like put him in an armored suit or something like that. But it's like, well, what if
some ninja armor?
Yeah, but what if he was possessed by a devil? What if Daredevil got possessed by an actual demon or devil?
They've done that.
How they did?
Oh yeah,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was whenever he was taken prisoner by the Hand. He ends up getting possessed by a demon and working for the Hand.
Oh yeah, maybe you're right. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's been around. The character's been around for a long time.
Joe G says Bendis put left DD in jail for Brubaker to get him out. He did, and who else was?
That was a choreographed handoff, by the way.
Do you know who else was in that jail with Matt Murdock?
Oh,
maybe the most famous non-powered, character of justice.
This is the Officer Salazar.
This was CO Salazar that worked in the prison. Yeah. That's right. Ed Brubaker put me in an issue of Daredevil.
He did.
Damn it.
He did.
I always have that. Always have that.
Mm-hmm. No one can take that from me.
Nobody can take that from me.
Yeah, but that was actually, I mean, it's a little bit of comics history at this point, I guess. Is that Bendis and Brubaker worked together pretty tightly on that handoff because Bendis can't actually end a story, so it was perfect.
Well, it's not
because he was able to hand it off to someone else to finish.
To be fair, it's not that Bendis cannot end a story. Bendis's philosophy.
Name one.
Bendis's philosophy has always been to put the toys back where he got them from. Put them back on the shelf when you're done with them. It was Bendis's philosophy. I'm going to take the toy off the shelf. I'm going to rough it up and play with it out in the yard. I'm going to bury it. I'm going to burn it. I'm going to do other things. But when I'm done, I'm going to put it back on the shelf for the next guy. And I respect that.
I do.
You can kind of, start.
It drives me nuts.
Well, his job was to sell comics, and you know what?
He's done good.
He fucking did that because you just kept reading.
It is a love-hate relationship because he has written some of my absolutely favorite fucking comics in the world. Like, legit. Is one of my favorite writers. But he has also written comics that make me want to spit blood and kick puppies. You know?
I don't know about.
He drives me nuts. He really does. As a writer, he drives me nuts.
Well, I'm looking forward to more of the Devil's Reign to see what happens. If they can pull off an actual Daredevil-centric event, it'll be interesting. I don't know how. I mean,
it's very Marvel Knights, right?
Yeah, it's got that. Yeah, and you know, the characters are going to be. I assume at some point, the way that it'll sort of come down to Daredevil versus Kingpin at the end of it, which is sort of they're setting this up, how he'll become the one that, you know, ends it. Is
I have questions though.
Okay.
Who's the other Spider-Man? Is that Miles Morales?
I don't know if that was Miles. I honestly don't know who that other.
So there's two Spider-Men.
There's two
Spider-Man. Who is the female Daredevil? That's not Elektra.
No, it's not Elektra. That is shit. I don't remember.
The Heckler.
The Heckler. No, she was a villain. She was a Daredevil villain. I think Zdarsky came up with, and then she took over for Matt as Daredevil, I believe, for a little while. And I'm honestly not caught up on Zdarsky's Daredevil.
I need to read his Daredevil run. So he introduced characters. Yeah, because I'm looking at like this, and I mean, it's what it is. It's the Marvel Knights, right? You throw Punisher in there, and it's Marvel Knights.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty much. It's the New York Hell's Kitchen street level.
I mean, you got Moon Knight, you got, you know, even Cap,
Luke Cage,
and
going Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is like, okay, Kingpin, even if what happens, well, that's the interesting thing. At the end of this book, spoiler alert, you know, Kingpin might be getting some powers that are going to make him much more formidable of a villain. So
powered villain mayor.
Yeah. So that could be more interesting.
They're going to put him on a reality TV show.
Turns out that he really does just want to be a good mayor, and Daredevil just like harasses him the entire time, stopping like real progress from being made in New York City.
It's so here's my one big criticism of this is that
the shocker was real thick.
No, it's I feel like they just turned Kingpin into Lex Luthor. I mean, we've done this right before. It's Lex Luthor. It's Mayor Luthor, President Luthor. I mean, we've done this before, right?
Yeah.
We've done it all. We've done it all before, Chris. Is there
that is my criticism, is that it just feels a lot like the Lex Luthor runs for president storyline in DC.
Do you think is it because you think the Kingpin's like a fundamentally different character
than Lex
Luthor?
No, I think that whenever he's talking about how superheroes, the root cause of all bad things runs back to superheroes, that's very much the Lex Luthor, I'm here to save you from Superman, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing. I would not say that this is the most original Marvel event that I've ever read.
Wait until
to Joe G, that's what I was basically saying. So in the comment section.
I don't know. It's not. Well, let's see where it goes.
I like it though. I totally entertained by it. I just, and that's probably what I do like about it, is that it brings up that conversation. It makes you, look at some things and think about them. Yeah, it's a really
I like
good
that
issue.
he's married to Typhoid Mary,
right?
Which is sort of an interesting.
That's one of Daredevil's old hookups.
and almost killed him at one point.
Well, every girlfriend that Matt has.
Yeah. I don't know if
Almost
I'd hook
kills
up with someone named Typhoid Mary.
Who knows what she's got?
Seems like you're gonna get typhoid.
It's like Lou Gehrig. How did he not know?
I'm not even going to comment on that. not saying anything on that bad joke.
That's not my joke. Joke stealer. You guys, got anything else?
What else? I read some.
You recommended King of Spies last week, and you were fucking right on it. It was so fun.
Yeah,
it's aging James Bond goes off to kill assholes, as written by Mark Miller with really pretty art.
It's
done.
Middle-aged done. Mark Miller writes appropriate for his age.
Yes,
if nothing else. You know what I mean? Like he's a I don't know, how old is he?
I mean, my beard doesn't show it, but I'm of that age.
Yeah,
this young buck over here.
This 20-something we got middle. Mark Miller. I mean, his
dance.
He writes comics for guys our age with characters that are our age.
That we know.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's good stuff. I'll give you another comic that I've enjoyed so far. 2 issues. I think there's 3 issues out now. It's an Image comic called The Frontiersman, and it's we talk about sort of like taking big swings and how we like comics that sort of are ambitious. Well, these guys in the first issue, the writer talks about how their goal with this book is to make it the best superhero comic on the stands. And I don't know if it is the best superhero comic on the stand. Yeah, it's bold. It's very bold, but that is their goal. Is every month they want this to be the best superhero comic on the stand. And it's a book about the frontiersman, who is a sort of 1960s activist superhero who's dressed up in like a coonskin hat and a fringed jacket. Kind of he almost looks like Forbish Man to some degree, except now he's old and gray, and he's like a boomer. He's like an old hippie boomer kind of guy who was a superhero, and now they're trying to bring him back to be not a superhero but a super activist. So it's an interesting book, but it goes like the first issue is sort of typical to some degree, and then the second issue goes off in a wild, weird, strange direction I wasn't expecting at all, where he runs into one of his former nemesis, this character Nemesis, this character called Galaxy, who's basically a living galaxy. And yeah, it's very I can't even explain. It's just a very bizarre, but it's not typical in any way. Like, it's not a typical comic book, yet still has a lot of the sort of tropey stuff of comics, superhero comics. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. The 2 issues, it's been really interesting. And yeah, they want it to be the best superhero comic on the stands. I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it could.
I love that, like, 2 or 3 times tonight we can say things like, I haven't seen this done before, or this is pushing the medium in ways and storytelling in ways that I haven't seen before. It's a really good time to be a consumer of entertainment. I mean, comics, TV,
well, the doors are.
I mean, it really is. It really is, just because the amount. I know you did. You're being.
Yes, you're right.
You are. I mean, because of streaming, because of the amount of comics. I mean, it's just it's a fire hose of creativity. It's really. I mean, it's exciting. It's cool to be a part of that.
Well, not to be silly in any way, but I think I mean the reality of there are less gates and less gatekeepers in all of entertainment now than ever before, and I think it's easier to get a story out there in whatever medium you choose to do that in.
And
there's more.
It's volume and quality. I was talking to called Windorf this week, and we were talking about the stuff that we were growing up watching, and how I almost sound like old man. How spoiled people are because they can complain about things like Hawkeye, the TV series.
Yeah, just the fact that
they're complaining about Hawkeye, the TV series.
What's
right?
Stiltman, the TV show.
Yeah. The movie. Like I had to live through the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. I know what bad is, and it's like people are complaining about these super high production level, actually well-told stories that are available to you. It's really good, and people are complaining about it.
You're
and
fucking
I think that
lucky
hilarious.
You get a Hawkeye show.
Right? Right? Get off my lawn,
No, I like a couple of years ago, I came to the realization with a lot of media, comics especially, because I think it got to the point where I started to realize that there, especially mainstream comics, there are a lot of comics that are not for me, just not geared for a 50-year-old guy. Whereas up until a few years ago, most mainstream comics were.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's in the long run, it's a good thing.
I remember reading Scott Pilgrim and saying that is a really good comic, and that is absolutely not directed nor targeted at me in any way whatsoever. I saw what a good piece of work it was, and understood that it was not directed at me, and that's fine.
Well,
that's
my point is that there's so much out there that not necessarily whether it's geared towards me specifically, but that I can certainly enjoy.
I just bought this hardcover this week.
Velvet. So, it's from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but that to reinforce your point, are you hurting for things to
absolutely not.
That you like? It's like, Brubaker and Phillips are putting out, 2 books a year. But
I like that.
That's all I got. I'd be happy. Right?
I can find One-Star Squadron, or I can find Frontiersman, or I can find Human Target, or whatever.
King of Spies.
King of Spies. In these books, like, this is there's so much good stuff. There's more good stuff being put out, I think, than ever before. There's just more comics being put out. But there's also more good stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that is crap, but that's no different than any other time in history. And
that's just how companies. We're going to do an ACTV episode this week. I think we're all happy and healthy and ready to get back. So I'm watching. Pull up Netflix. Cowboy Bebop and Lost in Space. Both made by the same company and wildly different in quality. It's the same thing with comics. It's like, like DC, what they're doing with Black Label, that is a premium product. I don't expect that level of quality in a lot of their other stuff. So yeah, I love that they're able to do that kind of level of comic, which I don't know if they were doing a few years ago.
Yeah, there's just there's a lot of good shit. There's a lot of good shit out there now.
Get some of that good shit.
Give me some of that. Out there. Give me it. Joe Julius, Packers Sunday night. No, I'm not watching that game.
No.
I don't need to see more disappointment in my Bears.
I will watch anything but that.
I was
Tom's gonna be glued to it.
I've raised my son to be to root for whatever players he likes. Luckily, he doesn't really get attached. Yeah. He just likes players, and I think that's great because teams will inevitably break your
Break
heart.
your heart. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
he's not a Bucks fan.
you're
He's
really,
he's a Giannis fan.
Yeah, he's not a Bucks fan. He's a Giannis fan, and he's a Steph Curry fan, and I mean, he likes the Bulls now because they're good. But when the Bulls suck, he's not going to torture himself and watch that team. You know what I mean? Like,
That's called being a healthy sports fan. Because
Yeah.
when they suck, fuck them.
Yeah.
There's no badge of honor you have to carry.
but for me, I can't watch another football team. So it's either I watch the Bears or I don't watch football, and I don't watch football when the Bears are bad. I don't watch football. You know, but it's
painful.
like, you get stuck with this fucking garbage franchise, and then, but I was talking to him about this, and I was like, here's a little game I play that hopefully you'll never have to go through. I go back through previous drafts and see who the Bears missed out on, who they passed up.
Oh yeah.
Here's the 2017 draft where the Bears had the number 2 pick in the NFL.
You remember whenever they traded up to not draft Pat Mahomes?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I remember.
That was a genius move there. Yeah.
There's lots of them. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So there you go. Ended on
Wife of the tortured Bears fan.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's terrible.
It's okay, Tom.
Pity us.
Your time is
Yeah. Pity you.
Someday Aaron Rodgers will die, and I'll be happy.
Yeah. As long as he's not the quarterback.
Until then.
Until then.
All right. I feel like we didn't talk about all of our many ways to reach out and contact us and watch.
Nobody does. Let's be honest.
Info at aroundcomics.com. Thursdays now.
People have better things.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah.
ACTV coming back this week.
Maybe.
patreon.com/aroundcomics. We've got a call-in number, right?
We're talking about Yellowstone all week on ACTV.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
have you watched Arcane yet?
No.
Welcome to Yellowstone.
I've been watching Yellowstone. 3 seasons of Yellowstone.
I'm not watching that fucking show.
Why? It's great. It's terrific.
No.
It's a terrific.
Not until you watch Arcane. This is a two-way relationship, Sal.
No. Here, you know who always has the power in the relationship, Chris? The person who cares less. And that's always going to be me.
Jeez. That is true, isn't it? All right. Yeah, if you want more of that, ACTV, become a patron.
Yellowstone week.
Yellowstone, ACYT.
Yellowstone TV.
Yeah. Listen, come on. It's. Yeah.
I still have to watch the Wu-Tang show. I haven't gotten to that yet. Yeah.
I love that show. That's a terrific show.
Yep. Oh, I binge watched Martyrs in Mexico. We talked about that. So this past weekend, I binge watched the entire season of
British Baking.
No, I've watched all those. Don't the Queen's Gambit. I finally watched that beginning to end.
Oh, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was really good.
It was
she's really
shockingly good. Yeah, did she win things? Get nominated for things?
Probably.
I'm sure she should have, because it was really good. So yeah, ACTV. One of these days after the football season, Tom might even join us.
Maybe I'll talk about Yellowstone.
Get caught up, Tom. Get caught up in Yellowstone so we can have some deep conversations about Kevin Costner.
Oh yeah, my favorite topic.
Come on.
We could watch Waterworld. We could just do like a
Kevin Costner retrospective.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm ready. 6 months. We'll do 6 months of Kevin Costner talk.
Costner cast.
All right.
Costner cast. ACCC. It's ACCC. Costner cast.
Coming to the Patreon feed for you
Listen,
all.
Chris, I would think you would love Yellowstone. You got the hat. You just need the glasses. You got the flannel and the beard. You'd fit right in.
I will probably
need to-
watch that.
You just
show
need a
at some point.
Dodge Ram truck
Yeah.
and AR-15, and you're ready to watch.
I'm absolutely going to get tactical glasses for next week's episode, just for Tom.
Something to hold your phone while you record. You know, like in the car, just like, oh, I'm so pissed right now. It said "Happy Holidays" to me at the gas station.
Can you believe this fucking Starbucks cup? Look how red it is.
He said "Happy Holidays" to me. An attack on Christianity. God damn it.
Yeah. Chris insists on that we refer to Christmas just constant.
I want it like an entire segment of tactical Chris, of just sort of. I want this character to come on. I want it to be like Chris's brother that comes on every week and just calls us.
I'm gonna have to shave this fucking beard now, aren't I?
These communist comic books we're reading.
I'm Chris from concealandcarry.com.
Oh, you got to put an eye patch on like that douchebag congressman. What's his name?
Crenshaw. It's a
Crenshaw. Yeah, put an eye patch on. Get a copy of what's that fucking Jordan Peterson's book? Put it in the back.
I hate you all. All right.
Brown Comics is a no mask podcast.
All right. We will be back next Thursday. Same bad time, same bad channel. 8
Chris
Standard
can
Time.
record the episode from a school
bunker
board meeting.
A school board
Oh
meeting.
God, no, not a bunker, a PTA meeting.
Everyone in Chris's family is getting truck nuts, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Those truck nuts don't last
We'll be
forever.
back next
You need fresh
Thursday.
air.
In the meantime, we'll be everywhere in.
Head around Chris's beard.
I hate you both.
It's been too much fun. This has been. You were right. It is the best episode we've ever
Best
done.
episode, right?
This ended up being the best. Thank you, Chris, for this holiday gift you gave me and Tom.
I'm a giver. I am a giver.
Christmas gift, Sal, not a holiday.
Not a holiday present. Sorry, my apologies.
A Christ mess.
Is that a copy of American Sniper on your desk back there?
We're going to talk about scopes next week.
Okay.